Hello guys. I want to touch upon a subject that I previously discussed in my last video. It's about beliefs. I previously said that beliefs are formed in school, and that is why there exists a commonly accepted opinion based on those beliefs that we should all share. I want to expand on that a little bit, because it is true. The first 5 years of our lives are spent at home with our parents, and they teach us the basics so that we can integrate ourselves in the school, where we then learn a lot of things. But the thing is, very few of those things we actually remember after school, even after a couple of weeks of actually learning them. Yeah, we get taught them, we get tests on them, we score good, we score bad, then we forget. Because, let's say for a history lesson, you get taught what it offers, what its subject is. A couple of weeks later, you have to memorize it for a test, and then you never use that piece of information ever again. Maybe you use it, but very rarely. And we all know that without using something, without exercising a muscle, without reciting a piece of poetry, we will forget it, because useless information always gets deleted from our brain because it's useless. We don't use it. So why do we learn so many things in school that we will eventually forget? I believe that we learn them not because we need to know them, but because they form our way of thinking or belief system. We learn basic maths, yeah, so that we can learn more advanced maths later on. But we also learn maths because they develop our brain. We learn poetry, not because we need it, because learning poetry is without purpose, truly. But the only purpose it does serve, and it's a pretty important one, is it's like an exercise for your brain, like going to the gym for your brain. Learning pieces of poetry further develops your brain so that you can learn more complex pieces of poetry. I heard a very cool analogy from a professor, where a student asked him, why do they have to learn calculus? Why, when will they even use it? And he said pretty simply that they won't use it. Not even professionals use calculus, let alone ordinary people. But then he made this analogy where football players to go to the gym to exercise their upper body. He asked a student that attended football classes or something like that why they go to the gym, and he didn't know, because upper muscles don't get involved in football unless you're a goalkeeper. And he explained that despite them not using that muscle in everyday life, the neural pathways which build that muscle, which build the focus that requires you to make that exercise, actually help you in everyday life. Your brain gets better, your body gets better. So they didn't study calculus so that they can use it in everyday life. They studied calculus so that they can train their brain. This isn't true only for calculus. This is true for every single subject that you learn in school. Yes, maybe some you learn and use in everyday life, but not all of them. Yet, all of them actually contribute to the state of your brain. So what I'm trying to get at is every single subject you learn, you don't necessarily learn it so that you know it. You learn it so that your brain wraps itself around it. Your brain builds itself upon those classes, upon those lessons. You don't learn history so that you know those specific dates or those specific names. You learn history so that you observe the past patterns that formed into disasters in humanity. You learn I actually don't know what other examples to give here. But that history one is pretty good. It's pretty explanatory. We learn these things not because we will need them, but because they form our way of thinking. They form our belief system. And here I got back to my subject. Our belief system is almost identical for all of those who go to the schooling system. From then on, once we graduate, we are either left with this belief system and we keep it, or we either develop it further or replace it. How do we do that? Through learning. People think that school, the end of school, graduation, is the end of the days that they have to learn. But no, you have to learn your entire life. If you do not learn, you do not expand. If you don't expand, you become useless. Now, depending on the media that you consume, the lessons that you learn in your life, that expands or contracts or replaces or embraces your belief system. You read popular books, you read, I don't know, corporate books, you may very well just further expand on the belief system that you were already instilled with. You read classical books, you gain a more archaic belief system. And the more you read, the more you work, the more you observe, the more grand your belief system becomes. And you gain this ability of looking at the world in very different ways. There is a chapter in Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, which instills just this. I mean, I don't think it's the whole chapter, but still, it says that the most valuable thing you can have is another perspective on the same matter. Because perspective is what forms your opinion. It's only through perspective and different perspectives that you can see the grander picture. This is why it's important to never stop learning, to forever expand your belief system in order to look at problems in different ways, find different solutions. I think that will be all for today. Thank you for listening. I don't know, I think I should start making scripts for my videos. I think this was pretty chaotic. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night. And may God bless you all. Peace.